Hey everyone, welcome back to Stag Voiceover. My name is Neil Glasgow. This is part 2 of our 3-part series in where to look for voiceover work. So, let's get into it. Another good site to have is one called Voice Bunny. Now Voice Bunny is unique, going to say unique, in what I've experienced at the moment. Voice Bunny actually pay you to audition. Now to be on Voice Bunny, you actually have to pass a fairly high criteria to get on. Now it's an absolutely free site, but what their selling point to their clients is that the quality of sound that comes from all of their voice bunnies is of a standard that doesn't matter who they choose, they will always get a consistent quality of voiceover. So apply to Voice Bunny. Voice Bunny will send you a script to read. In that script, you'll need to follow certain instructions. And that's about what levels you record it to, how you submit it, what WAV file, MP3, all that sort of stuff. They're very specific in their requirements. That goes through a filtering process, and if you're successful, they bring you onto the platform. And as I say, they pay you to audition, they pay you when you finish a piece of work. And again, the more you do, the more you do. It's one of those types of sites. It's got a high pass criteria, so don't be disparaged if you don't pass it the first time. You can reapply as many times as you like. The next one to look at is one called Convocal. Now Convocal is again another international website. They've slowed down a little bit this year in terms of the amount of projects that are coming through, but again a really good free website. You create your profile, you put your details up, jobs come through. The only thing I'm conscious of on Convocal is the length of time that an audition is open for. They might post it on, say, the 1st, and the closing date for it might be the 28th. That's a really long time in voiceover to have auditions coming in. I'm not sure what their model is behind that, but again, Convocal, I'll put links to all of these in the description, so don't worry about spellings. Again, set up your profile and start auditioning. The next one to look at is one called People Per Hour. Now, again, People Per Hour is one of those hybrid sites. It's absolutely free to set up. You can buy bids, I think they call them. Again, relatively cheap. But you get, in your free trial, a certain amount of bids that you can put on per week or per month. Now, People Per Hour's niche, is you have to essentially meet a threshold of work, of being hired within your free period to qualify to continue to use the service. Otherwise, they say tough. Basically, you can't come back in until a certain amount of time has passed. Again, you're not losing anything. Give it a go. Apply for the jobs that you can go on, much like Freelancer and one other site that I'll come on to in a moment. It's about searching the roles, send a specific application for it, a covering letter that they say, and attach some of your samples if you have any, and then again see how you get on with that. A good one that I've come across that I've not seen a lot of people talk about yet is one called Vocad. Now Vocad is again it's a platform that you have to qualify to get onto. I approached them, I gave them my sound, and thankfully they came back to me and said, you know, I've got a sound that they don't have access to at the moment, and we're really happy to work with me. I'm not sure what their criteria is, but again, it doesn't cost you anything to apply to Vocad. They've sent through some really good paying, $1,000 plus jobs for big companies. You know, they have the likes of Adidas and Nike and Tesco and Jaguar. You know, they're really good, high-paying clients that come through there. So definitely give them a look. And again, in a separate video, I'll go into an in-depth review of all of these sites, just so you can understand what you could potentially expect coming out the back end of it. A great UK-based one is Volquin. And again, don't worry about spellings, it's all in the description below. Volquin is, again, quite unique in its approach, where it doesn't want edited samples of what you do. And what I mean by edited is music beds, overproduced, all that sort of stuff. They want dry voice readings. Nothing mess with it. They want to hear your sound. And you can put about 30 samples up on your profile. And again, you put it up in your profile, It's not a site where you can actively apply for work, but it is a site that the more samples you have, the more visibility you have, the more a client is going to find you and potentially offer you work. I've seen a few jobs come through there. Only been with them about a year. They're relatively new, but they are growing, absolutely. So check out Volquin. Next one to have a look at, if you're like me, a Scottish person, you've probably noticed I have an accent, is a place called Scottish Voices. Now, they actually work with Vocad. I actually only found this out a couple of weeks ago, but they are a Scottish specific. So this is just for my my boys and girls in blue. It's a very good site to have. It's something that's very specific to that particular region, and actually, if you search for Scottish Voices online, as in you're looking for a Scottish voice, they'll pop up. And again, you can have, I think it's about 8 samples on there. Definitely worth having you on your radar. The next one I'm going to talk about is one called Voicebooking.com. This is, again, another international site. It's one of those ones where, again, you're not auditioning. You create your profile, put your samples up. They'll look for relevant samples, real-world examples. So one of their criteria is, have you actually been paid for this work, or is it just an audition? There's no wrong answer to it, but be honest in what you've done, because again, it will help draw work to you. And I've been contacted through that site by clients in India, Italy, Canada. So it is a site that has international reach, and it is kind of one of those sites that keep it up to date. But once you've loaded your stuff on there, check in every 4 or 5 weeks and just see what's going on with it. But you don't have to have it constantly on your mind about, have I checked that one for auditions today? Which you should be doing on most of these sites. Is there something that I can be auditioning for? The next one is called The Voice Finder. The Voice Finder is, again, one of these international sites. Upload your profile, put your details into there, put your samples on there, and again, go out and get on with it. I've had quite a lot of work through The Voice Finder, actually. I think it's a really good site. I get a lot of international clients coming to me through the Voice Finder. And again, the more sites you're on, the better. But definitely upload your samples to that. Check in every so often. But again, it's not one of those sites that have active auditions. And the last one I'm going to talk to you about as a free site is probably one of the big ones. But I'm going to caveat this with, just be careful in the amount of time you dedicate into this site. And it's ACX. ACX is Amazon's Audible audition site, and it's fantastic. It's fantastic in the sense of there are lots of auditions, there are lots of audiobooks on there. If you've ever been on Amazon, if you haven't, the world. Amazon and Audible have one of the largest Audible libraries that are out there. It's a really dumb sentence, but I'm going to go with it. The thing to be careful of if you're just starting out, say you audition for an audiobook and you're successful and you get that audiobook, and let's just say it's a 10-hour audiobook, you have to be careful of the time that's going to take, particularly if you don't have another income coming in or you're on a tight schedule. If it's a 10-hour audiobook, it's going to take you no less than 10 hours to read. You're going to have to read it to know how to perform it. It will then take you no less than 10 hours to record. So we're at 20 hours. And the reality is it'll probably take you 15 hours to record, 20 hours to record. Depends how many mistakes you might make. You're starting out, you might make a bunch. Then you've got to edit that. 5-6 hours, 10 hours. I'm fairly fast at editing. A 10-hour book could probably take me 6, 7, 8 hours. A really good space there. So I'm already at over 30 hours of dedicated work into this. And that's 30 hours I'm not doing anything else. I'm not making these videos, I'm not auditioning, I'm not doing anything else except that. And you have to be careful that you're not putting in too much time to something that's not going to have a return on investment. So absolutely have a look at it. If you want to get involved in it, look at the short books to start off with. You get some are on there for an hour, 2 hours. I think I did one that was 40 minutes once. Have a look at it. It's a really good website, but I'm saying this with a caveat. Just be careful of when, if ever, you audition and accept an audiobook on Amazon ACX. If you like this video, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. It genuinely helps the channel out. I'd really appreciate it. If there's any free website that I haven't talked about in today's video, please mention them in the comments below. I'll make sure to do an in-depth review on that website in the coming videos. In my next video, I'm going to be talking about the pay-to-play websites. These are the big boys and you're absolutely going to want to know how to navigate them. Remember, you can absolutely be a voiceover artist. I'll see you in the next video.